Recording the meeting. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for ANC 6E October 30th meeting. It is 6:32 p.m. and I will start by
So I have my mic.
doing the call to order and roll call. I will start with 6E01. Commissioner Ladif is unable to join. 6E02. Commissioner Watts.
Commissioner Watts.
Okay, so present. 6E03. Commissioner Rogers.
Present.
6E04 is vacant. 6E05 present. 6E06. Commissioner Kaufman.
Present.
6E07. Commissioner Carson. Thank you. 6E08, Commissioner Prince.
Present.
And then 6E09, believe that Commissioner Hans is unable to join. So we have a quorum of 6 commissioners, and then we have 2 absent commissioners and 1 vacant seat. So we have met the quorum for this meeting with 6 commissioners present. And then we'll be voting on approving today's agenda. Let me share the agenda. Everyone, second. More technical issue, but I'll be able to address that. Okay. Agenda. Everyone see the agenda? Yeah. Sounds good. So the first 2 items are administrative items, and then we will be approving September minutes. I think we only have the minutes for the regular meeting. We don't have the minutes yet for the special meeting, so we can approve them next month, and then we'll have the regular updates from Councilmember Allen's office, the mayor's office. We will be having an update on forming a community advisory team for the East Street Bridge Housing Program from the Department of Human Services. We'll have a public safety discussion with MPD representatives. We have a request for supporting a 2-year extension of a Board of Zoning Adjustment Order. In 6E01, another one also for a different property at 300 New Jersey Avenue Northwest and 51 Louisiana Avenue Northwest. We have a request for support for a map amendment application with the DC Board of Zoning for Phase 3 of the Northwest 1 project. We have an item with a number of applications for renewing liquor license application with APCA. And then we'll be voting on our QR FY25 budget items, and then we will have the open forum, and then we will actually be voting on changing the date of the next meeting, since the last Thursday will be during Thanksgiving holiday, so we're moving it to the Thursday before, and then we will adjourn. Commissioners, any questions or suggestions for amending the agenda? So packed one already, but if there are any 10 pressing items, please let me know before we vote on the agenda.
I do have a question.
Yeah,
I and you and perhaps other commissioners are aware we've been approached by another ANC about a matter, and I wondered whether you wanted to leave that to the open forum or add it to the agenda formally.
yeah, I think just to like go with a standardized informal policy of having those presentations by either applicants or representatives from council members' office or executive branch. We can just have that during the open forum since it's from a different ANC commission, and then um, we can consider taking action if needed, or if someone wants to introduce, you know, a resolution. I think the request for a letter of support, not a resolution, so that can be done without a vote. That's why I thought we can leave it in the open forum. Does that work for you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Any other questions or suggestions? Okay. Um, so with that, I will make a motion to approve the agenda for the October 30th ANC 6E meeting. Anyone would like to second?
I'll second that.
Okay, so Commissioner Abu Khalaf moved and Commissioner Kaufman seconded a motion to approve the agenda for the ANC 6C October 30th, 2025 meeting. Since we have a large group, I'll be calling on the commissioners by name to collect the votes. Commissioner Watts,
Commissioner Watts?
how do you vote on approving the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Rogers?
Yes.
Okay. And then Commissioner Kaufman,
Yes.
Commissioner Carson,
Yes.
Commissioner Prince,
Aye.
and myself, I. So the motion passes with 6 ayes, 0 nays, and no abstain. Now moving to the next item, which is the approval of the September 25th, 2025 um, meeting minutes. For this vote, if you didn't have the chance to read the minutes, you can abstain when we vote on it. Commissioner Prince, as the secretary, would you like to make a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes of our regular monthly meeting on September 25th, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah, well, that's correct. Anyone would like to second? I second. So Commissioner Prince moved, and Commissioner Abu Khalaf seconded a motion to approve the meeting minutes for ANC's regular meeting on September 25th, 2025. Again, you can abstain if you did not have the chance to read the minutes. Commissioner Watts,
I abstain.
okay. Commissioner Rogers, back to Commissioner Rogers, Commissioner Kaufman,
Uh, okay. Aye.
okay. Commissioner Kaufman,
I abstain.
Commissioner Prince,
Aye.
and Commissioner Watts. I mean Commissioner Carson, sorry.
Aye.
Okay, so we have the motion passes with 4 ayes, 2 abstains, and no no's. Okay. Now we'll move to the next item, which is an update from Councilmember Allen's office. see John. Good afternoon, John. How are you doing?
Good. How is everybody?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Let's see. Let me get to my notes. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so I want to get to a couple things. Councilmember Allen helped to cut the ribbon at Georgetown's new campus at Mount Vernon Triangle this week, which was really fun. He also got a good look at Cobb Park's construction while he was there, so that was really fun. Let's see. During the shutdown, council grants the mayor power to issue marriage licenses, which means that you can come down to the secretary's office at the council to get your marriage license. Um, let's see. And that is on the ground floor, just so folks know. We do also have a list of resources available on our website for neighbors that are impacted by the shutdown, as well as other cuts that are coming November 1st. Let's see. The Resale Act, council held a hearing for the bill to rein in ticket scalpers with the Resale Act. Basically, what that means is at the box office, we're removing the bots. So, for example, someone selling more than 50 tickets a year puts a cap on the amount of money they're charging above the face value. So it's 10% above. And then, I think most venues are super in support of this. The Anthem, IMP, 930, Pearl Street. A lot of venues are really supportive of this, not to mention the artists that don't see any of this money as well. Let's see, you can submit your testimony by November 5th. I'll put that link in the chat. The next thing, super important for 6E as well, is we don't know what's happening with SNAP. We assume that November is not going to be dispersed. We don't know if Trump's going to come in tomorrow and put it back in place. But for now, because of the shutdown and other reasons, SNAP is really going to be hit very hard. And there are also new rules for taking advantage of the SNAP program. I also, in other words, age is extremely limited now, as well as the time frame. So, for example, 3 months and 3 years is the new limit for SNAP benefits. Also heard today in a briefing from that LIHEAP is not moving forward for November. They're not sure about December. They are talking to Washington Gas and Pepco to see if they can have no cancellations, no disruptions in service for November. Not clear about December. I know that Washington Gas is likely on board. Pepco is in conversation. DC Water is not. We are seeing mass disruptions in DC Water right now, and actually our office is really active in trying to alert and prevent those. Another bill, the bottle bill this week, or last week, I guess, the council had a hearing to create a bottle redemption program here in DC. Next, it'll go to our committee on transportation and the environment. We'll hold one more hearing on the topic, and the idea is to reduce litter in our city and our river. But the caveat is that we are trying to make sure that that doesn't create a burden on local businesses. If you guys have any questions, I will put my email in the chat and happy to take any questions right now.
Thank you, John. Continues to be a difficult time. And then just to clarify, the LIHEAP is the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. And I see on the website it says that due to the federal shutdown, the funding is delayed. So this is a DC program by the Department of Energy and Environment, and just assists or is intended to assist low income um,
Yeah, so
households
you
with
can
their
use it once a year.
okay.
Um, and a lot of people are signed up on that. One thing that I forgot to mention about that, and thank you for giving me the time to think of it, is that the discount program will be in effect, and you can put yourself on the waiting list for that. So that is an income-based program. It's really clear on their website in terms of a family of X makes X and therefore is eligible for the program. So the discount program is on, but the once a year up to $2,500, I think it is not for
Got
LIHEAP.
it. Have you related to this topic, have you been hearing from constituents about the significant increase in Pepco bills?
Yes.
Okay. Is I mean we had someone present and it was about, the demand is becoming very high and the resources are limited, so they're going with increasing the power bills, but it seems like some
It's
families saw their
dramatic.
bills, yeah, like increase like double or triple. So is this something that your office is working on or the council or the
We're
solution
definitely
for
looking at it. There's not a whole
okay.
lot, it's gone through the PSC, the Public Service Commission, who regulates them in terms of increase of rates and that kind of thing. Um, I do think that they have some discounts available, but the what we're hearing in terms of the reasoning behind it is the infrastructure they're investing in.
Got it.
I would, between you and us, or me and you, I would say that all of it, or a lot of it, has to do with the fact that they're paying for a large cleanup, given all the lawsuits that have been brought against them in recent years. But, I'm not an expert. I just know that this is a really,
Hmm.
really large increase, as you said.
Got it. Before we continue, I see that David Ross says that he could provide an update on Snap.
Wonderful.
Um, David, could you provide a quick update before we go back to the
I
Q&A section?
can, and I'm so happy to do so. And I'm only at
Thank
liberty
you.
to do so because a press release was just released within the past literally like 32 minutes. Mayor Bowser, through local funds, will be issuing SNAP benefits for the month of November. So we are very pleased to do so. We're doing so at the risk of federal government not reimbursing us, but it's a value of our mayor. It was a key North Star for her, and I'm happy to be able to share that with your ANC.
Great. Thank you for the update. It's a good update. Okay.
Thank you, David. That is
Commissioners,
really wonderful.
yeah,
Thank you, friend.
that's great. Thank you. Um, and then, Commissioners, any questions for John before we move to constituents? Okay, I see that Commissioner Nigro has a raised hand. Go ahead and ask your question or make a comment.
Hi, Sean. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. So, long time no talking. But, of course, we're talking about the jail at 501 New York Avenue. That's why I'm back here. But quick question. Is Councilmember Allen, I know he's the chair of the Transportation Committee. I don't know the official title. But does that have oversight over the Public Space Committee? Do you know?
It has oversight over DDOT, which does regulate public space.
Well, not really, it turns out. But anyway, I'm going to send him an email and the whole committee just to be safe because we have concerns with the Public Space Committee and the jail at 501 New York Avenue. They're not following their own policy, which is no surprise. And second, I'm here to talk about at the end of the meeting that the Department of General Services has violated the order that was put out by the BZA for 501 New York Avenue. And I'll be seeking his support for this, violation against the order. It's ridiculous. So just if you could alert him for that email.
Okay.
Yep,
Great,
that is all.
thank you. Um, Commissioners or constituents, any comments or questions for John? Okay. As always, thank you for joining us, and yeah, hopefully next month we'll have better updates. Although the Snap update is a positive one, so we'll take any wins.
It is tremendous. One thing I will say is that the jail that Commissioner Nigro is referring to, we know that that's not a jail, but a holding facility.
A cell block, I think is the
Yeah,
term used,
yeah, the
right?
central cell block. Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So I just wanted
Yeah,
to clarify that for folks listening. Thanks.
got it. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And now we'll move to the next item, which is an update from the mayor's office. I see that Noah is here. Um, Good afternoon, Noah. Is there anyone else from your office?
No, it's just me.
Okay,
Unfortunately, you're
great.
stuck with me.
No, 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 no. Always happy to have you. Just making sure that I'm not missing
I'm
anyone.
glad to hear it, Commissioner. My name
Mhm.
is Noah Bryce Glasgow. I'm Mayor Bowser's Ward 6 liaison in her Office of Community Relations and Services. I say it every month, but that's just a fancy way of saying I'm her eyes and ears in Ward 6, and the entry point for DC residents to navigate their government. David beat me a little bit to the punch, but yes, Mayor Bowser did announce today that the district, that she has authorized the use of local funds to provide funding for SNAP and WIC. So there is no lapse in funding. So DC is taking care of DC with or without federal support. We are going to be paying for it through the use of local funds, contingency cash funds. And our contingency cash fund, it's locally funded, and it's available for unforeseen or non-recurring needs. So we're estimating that for the month of November, it's going to be about $29 million. And then for WIC, it's about $1.5 million. Which includes 1 million of direct benefits, and 500,000 of that's going to be grants to nonprofits and personnel and non-personnel services to run the program itself. And then the contingency funds are going to be replenished when the mayor submits her budget to the council next year. I was actually just in a meeting about budget cycle for 2027, so we're certainly looking forward to that. The other update that I have for you, just two more, is one about Medicaid changes. I believe I talked about this last week or last month, but I do believe it bears repeating. Starting on January 1st, DC's projecting that as a result of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that Congress passed earlier in the year, there's going to be some massive cuts to Medicaid, and about 25,000 of our residents are going to lose Medicaid eligibility solely based off of income, which is unfortunate. So if you're making about $1,800 a month for a one-person household, you could very well lose coverage. But the Health Benefits Exchange Office has created the Healthy DC plan, which is a state-run Medicaid plan, or Medicaid similar plan, with no cost to the enrollee. So HBX and the Department of Healthcare Finance have already begun outreach to everybody that's expected to lose coverage. We're going to automatically enroll the participants if they do lose Medicaid eligibility, so they don't have to go downtown. They don't have to fill out a form online or do any paperwork. We're going to enroll you ourselves, so there is no lapse in coverage. So Medicaid would end on December 31st. Healthy DC would begin on January 1st, 2026. So again, no gap in coverage. It doesn't have monthly payments, which we know are called premiums, or any out-of-pocket costs for covered services when you do get your healthcare from participating doctors and hospitals, which is great. Unfortunately, there is a change between Medicaid and Healthy DC, and that is that it will not be able to cover adult vision, adult dental, non-emergency transportation, and community behavioral supports such as housing support. But overall, we are doing our best to mitigate any losses to the Medicaid ecosystem. Lastly, about DDOT. So DDOT has released their guidance for streeteries and all the guidelines for that. And you can find all of that information on public space activation. That's as one word, so public space activation.ddot dot.dc.gov, and that is the landing page for all the streetery information. So the application is currently live, and on November 30th, so at the end of next month, the temporary permits for public space, which is what all the businesses who have streeteries have been using since COVID, those are going to expire again on November 30th. But if you know of any businesses that are not interested in keeping their streetery, they can apply for debris removal, which DDOT and DPW will coordinate to remove from the public space. The business owner would just have to break down a few pieces, but otherwise DPW and DDOT will be able to collect it for them, which we believe is a great service. There are a few design guidelines. They are not set in stone, so it's not like, your streetery has to be this certain color, use this kind of wood, etc. But there are general dimensions that you have to abide by. You can go a little bit over that. You just have to go in front of the Public Space Committee to make your case about why you need to go a little bit outside the guidelines. But again, nothing super set in stone. You can have a little bit of creative leeway with that, which is great. Yeah, but again, find that on publicspaceactivation.dc.gov. Those will be able to answer all your questions. And DDOT has been proactively engaging with the businesses that currently have streeteries, so they know about the deadlines coming up, the expiration of their temporary permit, and what they need to do to get a public space permit going forward. But other than that, those are all my updates. Happy to take any questions.
Great. Thank you, Noah. I have a quick question, and I can follow up with the different agency if you don't have the answer. Is there an ongoing process for updating the comprehensive plan? I think I've seen something about some meetings happening right now. Do you have information about that?
I would direct you to op.dc.gov.
Okay.
And they do have a tab on their landing page, which is Comprehensive 2050. And that should list all of the dates for like engagement sessions and the planning process that goes into that.
Great. Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions for Noah? Okay. Constituents, any comments or questions for Noah? Let's see. Commissioner Nigro, do you have a question or comment
do.
for Noah?
Hi, Noah.
Go
This is
ahead.
Commissioner Nigro. I am one of the commissioners from across the street in ANC 2G. And why I'm here on this call, maybe you heard a little bit earlier, I'm here because of the nickname is the jail at 501 New York Avenue, aka the Central Cell Block. But my question for you from the mayor's office, is it worth my time to bring in the mayor's office into the discussion when an agency, the Department of General Services, outrageously violates a BZA order? Can the mayor's office help, or does it even matter?
Well, your concerns always matter, and we're glad that you are bringing that up to us. I am not familiar with 501 New York Avenue, so I can't really speak too much on the issue that you're discussing, but I'm more than happy to loop in my Ward 5 and my Ward 2 colleagues about.
No. It's not about the. It's right across from 6E. It's not about the jail. It is about an agency violating a board of zoning adjustment order. And how can I loop in the mayor's office to make her, whoever, aware? This is an agency that is going against a legal decision.
I assume you know Ty and Adriana, my Ward 2 colleagues. I would loop them in about.
Well, I'm gonna loop you in too, because right across the street, it's literally across the street from this commission.
Yeah, feel free to do so. Again, I'm not too familiar with that particular BZA. I can't speak to it, whether they did or did not. I know nothing about it. This is the first I'm hearing about it, but feel free to loop us in.
Well, it's an agency going against a legal order.
No, and I hear you, but again, I am not familiar with anything about this.
I'll send you some emails.
Yep, please do.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Constituents, any other comments, questions for Noah? Okay. Not seeing any. As always, thank you for updating us, and we'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure. Have a great weekend or day.
Thank you. Thanks. Almost there. One more day.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, moving to the next item, we have an update from the Department of Human Services. If we can pull up the slides, we have Tyler, and we have David Ross. I see Anthony. Let me know if there are any other DHS members who I should give access to.
Hey, good afternoon or good
Person.
evening, y'all. And the other person on our team is, well, she's not on our team with DHS, but Sakina Thompson. She's with the
Yeah,
department.
great.
Yeah.
And then,
So
friend, if you can be on the lookout for Anthony Newman, he should be joining momentarily, but he's
yeah,
okay.
I think Anthony is already on.
Oh, beautiful.
Permission. Yeah, yeah, great. We'll pull up the slides if we can do up to 10 minutes of a presentation, and then we can have Q&A. That would be great.
So really quick, this is David Ross, Chief of Staff. I just want to level set that Tyler who supports my eyes, ears, left arm, right arm, will be the lead for helping us coordinate and move forward with the community advisory team. Tyler has been coordinating with AMCs in the past week, sort of sending invites out for folks to join. And so he's going to lead a presentation on where we're at, sort of still what we need, next steps. We'll take some Q&A and then move from there. So Mr. Edge, please take it away.
Thank you for that, David. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Tyler Edge. I'm the Special Assistant to the Chief of Staff, David Ross, at the Department of Human Services. And this is a presentation on the East Street Community Advisory Team. Next slide, please. So here's the agenda. We're going to talk about the purpose of the Community Advisory Team, also known as CAT, the stakeholder groups / membership, East Street CAT landing page, timeline, next steps, and we'll end with closing, which is Q&A. Next slide, please. So the purpose of the East Street CAT is our way of working with you all as residents and as neighbors. So ANC 6E will be creating or developing the East Street Community Advisory Team. It's a partnership between our agency, Miriam's Kitchen, which is the provider of the East Street Bridge housing, the ANC itself, civic and tenant associations, and facility residents. The CAT will develop a good neighbor agreement, which will outline their shared goals and responsibilities as partners. And the CAT itself serves as the official voice of the community. This is making sure that everyone remains informed, engaged, and empowered as we continue to collaborate and, move into the neighborhood. So the key roles include they act as official stakeholders, ensure transparent communication and information is shared in a timely manner, making sure we maintain the partnership between local organizations and our agency, and promote accountability and problem solving. Next slide, please. So we met with Commissioner Hans and Dale last week to discuss the stakeholder membership groups. So below are the listed stakeholders that have been identified. Again, we want to make sure that all parties involved, we all have this shared interest of making sure that we are working together again. And we're making sure that each member each person is representative of a different aspect, whether that's in DC government or organizations around our facility. So DC government representatives include Chief Staff David Ross, myself, Mokers, which is the Mayor's Office of Community Relations, Marcus and Noah. We have MPDs, Captain Paul, EOM, that is to be determined. We will discuss that later at a later date during our first official CAT meeting. A representative from the Ward 6 council member, Alan, we did reach out to them. I did inform Dale and Hans of their decision. A representative from Marion's Kitchen. Community organizations include Downtown Bids, Lucas Umana, and Georgetown's Corey S. Peterson. Representatives from the ANC, Commissioner Prince and Commissioner Hans. And lastly, we have neighbors from the Tenant Association next to our building, which is Nancy Rosen and Caitlin Haswell. So once we get the cat up and running, we're going to develop the East Street Cat landing page, very similar to our Aston cat landing page, and I will share the link in the chat once I'm done. Essentially, this is a central hub where all cat-related information will be housed. This includes the Good Neighbor Agreement, upcoming meetings, and we also archive previous meetings. So anyone from the general public, if they're interested on what's going on a particular month, they'll be able to go back and see previous recordings. Now, next steps. So we met again last week with ANC 60 commissioners, which was October 23rd. We're meeting again with you today, October 30th, to discuss the CAT. And if you are interested in joining the CAT and you are within the vicinity of our building, please email me at tyler.edge1@dc.gov. And in November, we will be sending out emails to the confirmed participants. We're going to develop the East Street landing page, and then we'll publish the legal notice for upcoming CAT meetings. And then in December, we will have our first official after the introductory CAT meeting where, things will be moving on from there. And that is the presentation. I know it was pretty quick. And if it's possible for the ANCs to share with people on the call, feel free to, if I'm allowed, just in case they want to just read more about it or just take some time. But we are now open for questions.
Great. Yeah, we will be adding the slides to the website.
Perfect.
We can also include information about how to reach out about joining the CAT in the newsletter. I think we can pull down the slides. Thank you, Commissioner Kaufman. So it seems like we are on track to have it set up and start doing the meetings. Are there any guidelines about who co-chairs the CAT? I know we have recommended that Commissioner Hans from the ANC be one of the two co-chairs. Do you know like who could be a co-chair from the executive office? And then just quick question, what does EOM stand for?
Executive Office of the Mayor, and we have
Okay.
Sakina on the line who can better answer that question.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Can hear
awesome.
you.
Yes, great. Okay, so the way we identify the co-chairs for the community advisory teams is that one is appointed by the ANC, relevant ANC, the chair of the ANC. So they appoint either the chair or a designee. And then the executive office of the mayor appoints a co-chair for the executive. And right now, that decision for who would be the mayor's co-chair is decisions before her. So we should know hopefully within the next week or two.
Got it. That sounds good. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Okay. Go ahead, David.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to add, our team had a meeting with representatives of Hotel George, which is right next to our facility. They asked us if they can join the CAT, and we described the CAT as a collaboration where we, the district, are sort of taking the lead on administrating and coordinating, but membership, we're allowing the commissions to take the lead on. So we forwarded her to ANC Commissioner Carson with the caveat that if she was not able to be selected to be a part of the CAT, there's always the ANC, and she would always have an open door
Right.
to me. So I just wanted to, for the sake of transparency, share that with you.
Yeah. So my understanding is that once we have the two co-chairs of the CAT identified, they select the members, right?
I'm going to defer to Sakina on that one.
Sakina,
Isn't
can you
that
repeat that question?
the process usually?
So I don't You know, we had community advisory teams in the past for every short-term family housing project that got
Mhm.
stood up, and that's been quite a long time. In the case of the Aston Community Advisory Team, it was quite a formal arrangement with the council member's office. So the slots for those were um, identified in an agreement with the executives. So you know, kind of launching from there. I think that you're going in the right direction. I think it makes sense that once the co-chairs are together, they can discuss the balance of the potential members, and you know, look at the Aston Community Advisory Team as an example because it is functioning quite well and has a good diverse
Mhm.
representation. And then I think the final decisions could be made, and it would be great to do that, of course, in November so we can get out the notifications. I think we're on a good track though with what we currently have, and I think there's just
Mhm.
a few little tweaks around the edges to work out.
Yeah, got it. That makes sense.
Okay.
Anthony, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. If I can just add to, again, Anthony Newman, DHS, if I could just add to what Sakina was saying, when you look at the CAT makeup for the ASIN, you'll notice that the roles were picked before the people were picked. And so there is a representative of the community, there's representatives of some of the neighboring facilities and commercial interests. And so those roles existed, then bodies filled in. So I'm not suggesting that's necessarily the right way or the wrong way, but you'll notice that that's the way that's sort of built, and that seemed to have worked very well to make sure that every constituency was represented.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. See a question in the chat. Does the CAT establish a good neighbor agreement? Maybe if one of you could just briefly explain what a good neighbor agreement is, for anyone who's not familiar with that document.
Mr. Newman, is that something you can field for
I can. So a good neighbor agreement, and when the CAT is formed, you know, the first meetings or two will go into what is a good neighbor agreement in some detail. But the essence of it is an opportunity for us to agree on what the roles of all the participants are, what will be the responsibility of the district government, and then that will be broken down into its government partners. So it will say things like DHS role is this, and Department of General Services role is that, or and if the case of MPD, there would be a role. If there's a the role of the CAT will be explained in that in some detail, as well as what their roles and positions are. There'll be a communication agreement as to how communication will work, a cadence for what the meetings will take place, and sort of set the guidelines of how the CAT will run. We use it periodically at the ASIN as a reference document so that when we come back to say, you know, what is the mission of this group, and are we targeting the purpose and the mission, because that will also be spelled out. So I think of it as a guiding document for what the CAT is, how it will be run, how changes and amendments will be addressed. And then once the CAT is rolling, the actual agendas of the particular meeting just be determined about whatever is however the chairs decide to organize and appoint and address and set the agendas. So that's the sort of short answer. When we get into the meeting, we will propose a slideshow that we have done, something similar to a slide deck that we've done, where we can sort of explain all what the elements are. That has it's been. But again, those things are subject to change based upon the need of the particular CAT. I hope that answers the question.
Does. Thank you. Thank you. I see that Alessandra has her hand raised. Other constituents, if you have any questions or comments about the formation of the CAT, feel free to use the raise hand option or type a question or comment in the Q&A box. Go ahead, Alessandra.
Hi, everyone. Yes, thank you so much. I'm here as a representative of Hotel George. I spoke with Mr. Ross and his team yesterday, sort of what he just mentioned. We have, we're interested in being involved directly and being part of the CAT. And I just wanted to kind of reiterate that interest here to the NC. I spoke with Commissioner Carson about it too briefly this morning, and she seemed receptive. I think in general, obviously, not only we are the neighboring property, we've been long-term owners and a very well-known and established business in the area, and think that our feedback could be useful, our perspective could be useful on the CAT. And again, we wish to be a resource for it, and I just wanted to reiterate our interest here with everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, and again, maybe if someone from DHS can confirm this, some of the meetings or maybe all of the meetings could be public with attendees who are not member of the CATS can weigh in and provide public input and attend the meetings, and then the decision making about the roles and responsibilities would be done by the CAT members. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. It's going to be on our website, so anyone who's
Okay.
interested they're able to join.
Yeah, sounds good. There is a question about having a boilerplate of a good neighbor protocol you can provide. I wonder if this is about like a template for the language, or maybe it's about the process for coming together to draft a good neighbor agreement.
Yeah.
The only reason why I would push back respectfully, I'd like our focus to be on completing the membership of the group. I would want us to get to start drafting an agreement without confirming who's on the
Got it.
team and confirming who the leaders would be. So with
Mm,
due respect, I would like to recommend that we stay focused on completing the membership, and then from there we can rock and roll as this commission would like.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there was a clarifying comment. It's a template. But I get where you're saying that now the focus should be on establishing or launching the CAT, and then once the members are confirmed, they can work with constituents and members among themselves and with constituents on drafting a good neighbor agreement.
Yes, my friend. And while we have a familiar term and sort of template of what we use, every city, every municipality will have their own. So there's no right or wrong. It's just the agreements this community will come together and make with respect to our entrance into your community. And as Mr. Newman said, the expectations of the district, the expectations of the commission, and the expectations of our new facility.
Got it. Let's see. John, did you have a comment or question that you wanted to share?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say, as somebody who works representing our neighbors in the family emergency family shelter in Southwest that represents Ward 6 as the designated, because every ward has one. We had a CAD and it was actually pretty phenomenal. Not everybody agreed on everything, and I think some sensitive issues were respectfully talked about. And I also think that the result of that was that I, as constituent services person representing those neighbors, as well as the neighbors of those neighbors, have gotten exactly 0 complaints or issues concerning that facility, which is not, I can't say that for many neighborhoods. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you so much for sharing that, friend. Thank you.
Great, thank you, John. See a question asking about how many residents have moved into the building. Is this something that you can answer?
Mr. Newman?
Yes, currently we have 13 residents living in there. I think, as we mentioned before, additional residents will be arriving as soon as we feel that the facility security and other building improvements have been made. So at this point, it's no new residents have moved in since we opened up at the end of September.
Thank you.
Sorry,
So,
can I mention one more thing?
sure, go ahead.
Sorry, we
No, go
also,
ahead.
I also would be remiss if I didn't remind the group. I know the last time we offered a tour, there were some residents who considered it short notice, and that's never our intent to make people feel like something is done in a way to not encourage their participation. So I don't know if you all want to talk amongst yourselves and see if there's like a Thursday, Friday night in the next couple of 2-3 weeks that you all would like a part 2 of our facilities tour. We're more than open to do that. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that with the committee. We are good neighbors, and again, while residents are living there, it's not fully at capacity. So over the next 2-3 weeks would be a great time to take members of this commission out for another tour.
Great. Yes, Commissioner Hans is not on this call, but I will let him know so he can reach out to Tyler and then they can coordinate. And I think what we could do is I will drop in the chat the general ANC 6E email. So if there are any residents who are interested in getting more information about the cat, they can shoot us an email, and we can also subscribe you to the monthly ANC 6E newsletter, and then we can include, the web page once it's up and include some updates about the cat. So constituents would know where to go to for information. I see that, I think it was Karen, I saw that you used the raise hand option. Did you have a question or comment?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I'd like to know what the participation is of Charles Allen in this process, the commissioner for Ward 6.
We reached out and extended an invitation, and at this time, we are encouraged to move forward until there's such a time where we need his office's engagement.
So we can have one representative from that office be a member of the CAT. Is that the question, Karen?
Yes.
Okay. So David, the answer is that you have reached out to the office and then the membership has not been finalized yet, so there could be a member from Council Member Charles Allen's office.
There
Correct.
could, but I also think it would be prudent to make sure that we have a potential backup in case we're ready to proceed and his office is not, and we could always bring them along at a later time if necessary.
Okay, thank you. I see that. John, did you want to respond or comment?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that I'm happy to be a part of that group, or Eric in our office that sometimes is my backup.
Okay, that is great.
Perfect. Just feel free to email me at tyler.edge1@dc.gov, and I'll just make sure that you all are included in all the correspondence.
Great. Thank you, John. Checking that we answered. There's a request for providing a 24/7 phone number to contact the property directly. Is that something that you can do, or do you want to respond to this request?
We will provide. We'll make sure that that is provided as a follow-up to this meeting. Yes.
Thank you. There's a question about the official start date of the CAT's implementation. Well, so Tyler, remind us of the timeline. Next month, the membership and the two co-chairs will be finalized, right? And then once that is done, the co-chairs will identify how many meetings and when the CAT will be meeting, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
that's it. And then I do believe that we anticipate having a introductory meeting in November just to, once we have our group confirmed so they can know each other, and then we'll get into our regular cadence in December.
Okay. Great. Last call for questions or comments by constituents. To
As
recap,
you're doing
I'm
that,
sorry, go ahead.
sorry, as you're doing that, good friend, I want to bring note to the fact that hypothermia season begins on Saturday, November 1st, and runs through March 31st, 2026. And that is a time where our shelters and operations is in heightened preparedness and readiness. So if you see someone who looks like they are in house and in need of shelter, please call the shelter hotline. If you do not know the hotline, please just call 311. Ask for the DC shelter hotline. When you're connected to the hotline, we just ask that you provide as best description as possible at either an address or the closest intersection, and we will send our van out to engage residents. So I just wanted to remind the team of that.
Thank you. That's an important reminder. And will they be taken into bridge housing? Well, that's a different program, right?
Sir, be careful or I'm going to hire you. That's very right. Each street is bridge housing. Our shelter hotline would take the individual to our closest low barrier shelter for the appropriate gender recognition that has capacity, and then engage with her.
Got it. Great. Well, this was very helpful. Just to recap, there will be more information next month about the co-chairs finalizing the membership, having an introductory meeting, and then once that is identified and set, there will be more information about the meetings and then membership and how the members will be working on the Good Neighbor agreement. And again, I dropped the ANC 6E email. So if anyone in the chat, if anyone wants to be subscribed to our newsletter or want to be involved or get more information about this topic, feel free to email us. Thank you again. This was very helpful, and we look forward to continuing working with you. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Likewise.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Moving to the next section, which is a conversation about public safety with MPD. Corey, did you have a question or a comment? Maybe that was a raise hand flick by accident. So I see that we have Commander Hall, Captain Herb Bank. Sorry for butchering your last name. Do we have anyone else from NPD who's joining us tonight? Feel free to use the raise hand option. Thank you for joining us, Commander Hall. If feel free to give us an update, but we have been getting questions also about federal involvement in local policing. There have been concerns about certain practices by federal agents, like not having ID tags or being face masked. So maybe if you can give us an update about the federal involvement in local policing, the timeline, and any other updates about public safety from MPD would be appreciated.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. Try and keep my comments a little short just because I think you may have questions or specific questions from the audience, whatnot, but I'll try and answer them as best I can. One thing I try to do when I talk about public safety and the ongoing relationship with the federal agencies is just be as transparent as possible and tell you everything I can tell you to the best of my ability. So I will give you a brief kind of overview on where we're standing right now as a city and 1D in particular with violent crime. Our violent crime is continuing to go down. We're at for 1D negative 21% on our violent crime, and our robberies, which is something we've really worked a lot on, are negative 33%. And for the city overall, we're at negative 29%. So it's been a lot of hard work go into that. We have an overall crime reduction of 15% for 1D. So Captain Herbenek is on as well. He's the Sector 1 captain, so he oversees that area. It's been a lot of hard work going into that to get those numbers down. So I know there's a lot of concerns within the community about MPD's working relationship with federal agencies. One thing I think is very important to talk about is that we have always worked with with our federal partners. That's been an ongoing relationship, that there's always been close coordination with our federal partners. We have standing task force with the FBI, DEA, ATF, that MPD participates in, and we have officers in those, and that bears a lot of fruit. Those collaborations, that teamwork, really have brought a lot of significant closures. And they have some tools that allow us to get deeper into some cases, or specifically, say, the ATF for firearms. The difference is what we're currently have been doing since since it started, really, is we're just working a little closer with them in different ways, where you're going to see in a different kind of a different way than you normally would. Normally, the task force are kind of investigatory, behind the scenes. You'll see them come out maybe when we're making an arrest, or if they're, conducting search warrants, that kind of thing. Now, what you're going to see more of is federal agency law enforcement officers that are patrolling with MPD. So they patrol with us on a nightly basis. Like I said, a close collaboration. They're out there supporting us. As far as the mission is to reduce public safety and keep the city safe, and that's what we've been doing. You can see it reflected in the numbers. So on a regular night, we'll have FBI out, and the difference is going to be, instead of wearing plain clothes, they have something identifying themselves. They're going to have some type of gear out there, and they're going to actually be on the street with our officers patrolling. So in some ways, there's some benefits to that. I know there's concerns with the community, but it does give us additional manpower out there. We have additional law enforcement officers that are now on the street assisting us. As I mentioned, they have other tools that we don't. They have different types of sets of skills or tools that maybe we don't have, as we have different sets of skills that they don't have. So kind of complementing each other in that way. They'll go out on a nightly basis and patrol, and they go to areas that we have identified, for the most part, that are either high traffic, that need additional presence, or areas that we know are trouble spots where we've had maybe violent crime or spikes of robberies. And that's where we deploy them, and we'll have MPD officers along with them. One of the reasons for that is they are our partners, and they do work with us on a regular basis, but also is to have that MPD face out there with our federal partners. So you can see at all times, there's going to be that connection to MPD, which is your community police officers. We're here, I believe I came to the meeting last week for the same reason. Captain Herbenek comes to every meeting. And I've been attending, as many community meetings as I can. And that is because the community relationship is very important to us. So we have that relationship, and we are committed to it. So having us with them, now you have that piece along with our federal partners as someone you can talk to, someone that you can identify, and you can always kind of track back what may have occurred or something. For the most part, in the first district, you're going to have first district officers that are going to be with our federal partners. Now, they are federal agencies, so they can, they have their own goals and missions. Sometimes they can perform law enforcement functions within the city without us, but this allows us to be kind of a guiding hand in some ways. They don't know the community like we do. They don't know the streets, and they don't know the problem areas as well as we do. So we try and formulate a plan to get as many resources into those areas that we need them as possible. So, we build stronger relationships that way. So, those efforts have definitely yielded results that we can see. So, are there any specific questions about that federal partnership or anything else?
I will pause and see if my fellow commissioners have any questions or comments. Commissioner Prince, go ahead.
Yes, I do. Yeah, thank you, Commander Hall. And I think in a previous discussion here, I may have raised the issue of sort of like who has the lead on deciding what's to be done and so forth. And it's still not entirely clear to me because it sounds like a very collaborative thing where I don't want to mischaracterize it, but my impression is that is neither side, federal nor MPD, sort of has the lead on deciding what to do, or maybe you're doing separate things, but I don't understand entirely. If you can shed a little more light on that, sort of on the, nuts and bolts of when you're out doing something together, sort of how have we gotten to the point that, okay, we're going to do this thing together with this objective? And then the second area, another area of interest is, concerns about cases where immigration has come into play. And even though I understand that MPD is not enforcing immigration, I have seen reports of people being stopped on what may have been an immigration issue and then turned over by MPD to the federal authorities who handled that issue. And is that a correct procedure? Have I understood correctly that is happening and that is okay to happen? And then another issue, just a third that I'm not sure whether you can comment on this, but we've seen press reports about, I believe it is park police would allow car chases within the district, which MPD doesn't do, as I understand. Maybe there are exceptions, which you could illuminate, but that's a disturbing thing because there are concerns, and I don't know what MPD could do about it, or whether you have a view you could express, or what we could do to push back on that issue of car chases, which I think endanger the public. That's it for starters. Thanks.
Sure. So for the first question, who's leading? For the most part, MPD takes the lead. I mean, we're the lead agency for the District of Columbia, and that's why I said they come to us. So they'll, the first district, I have a first district team that has different teams of federal agents that go out with us. And we take the lead. So, and that's why I was kind of getting at where we say we have trouble spots. This is where we need you to go. And they're going to go support our officers while we do that. Now, they are law enforcement agencies. So if they see something that falls into their purview or they want to take separate independent action, they can do that. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. But the overall goal and mission is to support MPD in our crime fighting functions and public safety functions within the city. There are these are all federal agencies that operate within the city. So there could be, as I'm saying that, that's kind of like the meat and potatoes of it, but there are other, of course, operations that go on that may not be in that main kind of patrol function. But for the most part, that's kind of how that works. As for ICE, ICE is their own separate agency. They have their own separate goals and missions. They perform a different function than law enforcement, community police do. So if they are out and about and they see things that fall into their scope of jurisdiction, they would take action as they would at any time. Now, where we might come and play with that is if they need support in the fact of for safety. We're never going to turn down a law enforcement agency that's asking for safety or to support them because this scene is unsafe or something of that nature. What we don't do is we don't go out there and initiate immigration action as MPD. So that doesn't happen. But we may be on a scene where they have and they're taking action and we're basically protecting their backside, just to make sure they get out of the scene safe, which is something we would do for any law enforcement agency. And, frankly, what we would do for you if you were trying to get out, you were handling something at your work or, trying to get home safe. So that's pretty much how that works. And lastly, the car chases. So Park Police, they're a federal agency. They have their own pursuit policy. They do initiate police pursuits, but that's always been a lot of the stuff has always been. It's just we're getting more spotlight put on it because of the current situation. Park Police is all. I've been on the police department for 27 years. So since 1998, Park Police has initiated chases within the District of Columbia. Capitol Police has initiated chases within the District of Columbia. MPD also has a chase policy. It's a lot more strict, but we do have police pursuits initiated by MPD as well. Those are going to be for serious life-threatening situations. We chase it. We have somebody just, commit a murder or a homicide or something. That would be something that it just happened and we have the suspect in our sights. We're most likely going to pursue that vehicle. There's a whole set of protocols with it as well, and it can be called off if it's unsafe at any time. But they're very closely watched and regulated, and actually the pursuit is watched minute by minute by our watch commander and our supervisors on the street as it's happening. So we don't just go out pursuing people just to pursue traffic or anything like that. But federal agencies have their own set of guidelines. Now they're just not as many of them, so it doesn't come up as often. But they've been involved in pursuits, for many years within the city. So did I answer all your questions?
You did, thank you. But I have a follow-up I'd like to pose. I have seen a report from another place, not DC, about people who were doing sort of a copycat, what appeared to be enforcement actions resembling ICE actions. And of course, we've heard of press reports, people who were taken away by people who were not identified, and so they couldn't tell if maybe there was a kidnapping in play. And so I wonder, does MPD have a protocol for dealing if someone calls and says, there's a kidnapping taking place on my street? It looks like federal law enforcement, but we're not sure. How would you handle that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, what I'd say, and that's actually not the first time I've gotten that question. So yeah, that's a concern people have. But what I would say is anybody who believes they've witnessed a crime. So what you're describing is someone that believes they witnessed a crime, which would be a kidnapping.
Or in progress. They're calling 911 and they're asking you to intervene.
Yep. Yeah. So that's fine. If you think that that's not a law enforcement agency that's engaged in their protocols and lawful act, you think it's somebody that's impersonating them, the right thing to do would be to call 911, and we would respond as we always do. We're always going to respond, and then we would begin to investigate it, and then we have to peel on the layers of the onion down and see what we get underneath. And what we basically do is if they're still there, we're going to go and we're going to find out, get them to identify themselves and then take it from there. And if not, then we'd have to, do a little more digging to see exactly what happened. And most likely we'd be able to find out pretty quickly whether it was a law enforcement agency or not. And then if it's not, then we have to investigate it as a kidnapping. And then we would go through a whole set of different protocols and investigatory steps. We take it very seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of like similar to some people. There was a time, I don't hear it as much anymore, but police impersonators pulling people over traffic stops. If you think that's happening, you can call 911 and say, I'm being pulled over by somebody. I don't think they're the police. And we'll send somebody out there just to confirm that that's actually occurring, what's happening, or try and raise the on the radio or something, to that nature.
Yes, thank you. And a related issue is that in these legitimate federal actions, there can be a violation of rights where a citizen who offers to prove citizenship or demonstrate reasonable proof is ignored and they're taken away, and then later it is established that they were a citizen that should not have been under, let's say, ICE's purview. But that's a separate issue.
Right.
Quick follow-up question. So we got a question from constituents as, you're walking down on the street or you're on the sidewalk and you're stopped by someone who does not have, a badge. They're claiming to be a federal agent and they're like masked and there's no way to identify if they're a federal agent or not. Like, how do you make sure that you're not being kidnapped, that this is like valid? Like, do you have any recommendations on this? And my question is, like, did this happen before? Have you heard about this before and concerns from DC residents, or it's just happening right now, or is it happening at a different level?
You kind of cut out there a little bit when you said,
Oh,
was it happening?
I was
What piece?
Yeah, was it happening before the federal involvement at this level? Is it happening now at a higher level, or is it mostly, media reporting about this issue and it's creating concerns among constituents? Like, if you can expand about that,
Yeah,
that
so
would be good.
it's interesting because there's a lot of media reporting on it. So that's definitely brought a spotlight to it. But like say in the first district, we've run into very little of that, where you'll see in other areas that's been more of a problem. So I really haven't run into it much in the first district area. So now there's some reasons for that, I suppose, but uh, you know, like I said, ICE and immigration have always been conducting their operations. So nothing is different in that. They may be conducting more of them. They are putting more publicity out about it. There's a whole political piece to it, and the news is definitely covering it at a higher level. But I would just say for the same thing, kind of, they're going to tell, they should be identifying themselves in some way if somebody's being stopped by them. And the same thing, I would say, if they think that they're being kidnapped, then they should be calling 911. The best you can. Now, if I haven't heard, these things are talked about a lot. I haven't heard one confirmed case of anything like that, and I could possibly have missed it. But I think that's a fear that's put out there, and I would never say anybody's fears are unfounded. I haven't heard of that. I haven't seen any concrete evidence of something like that happening. So, and I hope it never does.
Got it. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Actually, I have a quick question before we move to constituents to see if they have any questions for you. We've been reading a lot about the youth curfew, and there was an emergency bill. My understanding, there was an emergency bill, and now the council is considering extending it. Do you have any information about that issue, and like how is your district handling public safety issues related to that topic?
Right. I think our district is probably like ground zero for it. And a lot of it really originated from 1D and maybe 3D somewhat too with the U Street corridor. But a lot of that came about because of things that happened in 1D and are still happening in 1D. I'm a very strong supporter for the curfew. So I have no qualm saying that. City council's taking it up. I try and stay out of politics as much as possible, but I can see an obvious difference because I've been there on the scene with these things. I've been on the ground during youth, uh, you know, large gatherings, we'll call them, that turn violent and get out of control. And there's just no reason that I can see for juveniles to be out, like say in the Navy Yard, unattended without guardians, and 100 to 200 of them at one time. Uh, there's no legitimate reason for that. There needs to be a curfew so that the police have some tool in order to control that kind of activity, because it ultimately leads to several things. One, you're not doing them any favors by letting them go out in that kind of activity because they get hurt themselves. They get hurt, these kids then become the victims of crimes as well. So they're in a very vulnerable state when they're out. They're not attended by guardians. There's nobody responsible with them. And now you've got other criminals that prey upon them while they're out there, or they get into something they shouldn't get into themselves, and they end up getting arrested, or they, get involved in something that they shouldn't be involved in, or the third thing is they get hurt. And also cause a lot of fear within the community where it's happening. So I think the emergency curfews should come back in some form. We had an 8 o'clock curfew that, for the most part, stemmed all of the problems that we had over the summer, and it nipped it in the bud. I was there when we initiated the very first curfew, emergency curfew that started at 8 o'clock, and we had juveniles that wanted to test it. As soon as we challenged them on the curfew, they all left, and we didn't have problems the rest of the summer. So now within the last 3 weeks, we've had large gatherings of juveniles again, and we've had problems. We've had juveniles become victims of crimes, be involved in crimes. We had one get hit by a car during these. So to me, it's very common sense that juveniles need some kind of structure, and being left out without any kind of guidance or structure in place it's not good for them. It's a public safety issue. So that's my view on that.
Got it. Thank you for answering my question. Constituents, any questions or comments for MPD? You can use the raise hand option to ask a question or make a comment live, or you can type in the Q&A box. Let's see. Go ahead, Nancy.
Hello, everybody. I've been on the meeting. I've been typing my questions into the chat box. I just wanted to congratulate Commander Hall and Captain Habernick on a great haunted house last night. It made the 11 o'clock news, so congrats on that.
Thank you. I just came from it. We were having it again tonight.
That makes
it's
perfect.
scary.
I'm just jealous I can't do it anymore. It used to be a great event.
Yeah.
It's a sensitive question on the topic of the federal involvement and all. Are we still considered a sanctuary city?
I mean, it's probably a question not for me. It's
Okay.
too political. I can just kind of tell you like that the way that we're working isn't that much different than how it was before. Just that we're probably a little bit more um uh you know closer and with ICE, and just because we're out there and they're out there at the same kind of times, but not much has really changed overall.
Okay, good to know. I have another question. I don't want to take up too much time. Excuse me. You may have noticed an increase in 311 calls from our area because we're having a terrible middle of the night noise problem with deliveries. And we were advised by DDOT to call 311. So just to let you know, that's why you may be seeing a spike in calls.
Okay, how's the alley back there looking?
In terms of drug use and all,
Yeah, people being back there and drug use and that kind of.
quieter. Thank
Oh,
you.
good.
We're hearing a lot of whoop whoops, you know?
Oh, good.
Um,
All right, that's good news. That's
yeah,
something positive. I'd like to hear that. Excellent.
yes,
Well,
a
thanks for
lot of
that.
whoop whoops. We've all noticed it, so thank you so much. And I
We'll keep
have
them up.
seen less traffic from the drug dealer.
Excellent. That's a credit to Captain Herbenek.
Yes, thank you, Captain.
Thank you, Nancy. Um, any other constituents have questions or comments for MPD before we wrap up? Okay, not seeing any. Thank you again for joining us, and we will definitely continue the conversation in the upcoming months. Have a good night.
All right, thank you, commissioners. If you have any other concerns, feel free to shoot me an email or give me a call. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a good night, and then moving to the next item. Um, we have Lawrence. Good evening, Lawrence. Are you joined by anyone else to present on the request for supporting a 2-year extension of the Board of Zoning Adjustment Order 2052?
Good evening, Commissioners. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Yes, I do have with me Ramiz Munawar from Jamestown. That's the property owner. He's available to answer questions. I'll be leading the presentation.
Sure.
And do I have the ability to pull up the slide deck, or do you all?
We will be pulling up the slide
Perfect.
decks that you shared with us.
All right. Well, again, my name to the community out there is Lawrence Ferris. I'm with the law firm of Goulston and Stores. We're land use counsel for this project. We're here tonight for a time extension request for a BZA application that we had originally filed back in the fall of 2021. This is for an existing office building that's located at 300 New Jersey Avenue Northwest. That's it's the America Square complex that's at the corner of D Street and New Jersey Avenue near Union Station, kind of between Union Station and the Capitol. So the BZA approval that we had gotten was for a habitable addition to the building's penthouse and for renovation of the adjacent roof deck. So we processed, in addition to that application in 2021, we also processed a modification of that BZA approval just to make a few tweaks to the design in 2023. And also in 2023, we got an initial extension for the approval. And those were both approved by the BZA with the ANC's support. So tonight, we're back before you for an additional time extension. The BZA approval that was originally granted back, obviously in 2021, it was a very different market. The commercial real estate development conditions were just very different. And essentially the development team has been stalled as a result of just kind of the ongoing challenging interest rate environment, and that kind of combined with really elevated construction costs that have both now persisted for quite some time. So the team's still hopeful that those market conditions are going to improve in the near term, and that would allow the project to actually move forward and be realized, go to construction. But in the meantime, we need to extend the BZA approval to keep that alive. So I have a few slides here I can page through quickly just to sort of give a refresh of what was approved by the BZA originally. Next slide, please. So this just shows the site location. This is the America Square complex. You can see it in relation to Union Station and the Capitol building. Next slide, please. Here, this a little bit extra more information that you need, but these were the modified plans that you approved. So that's the blue bubbling was just modifications that we had made in 2023 to the original approval. The north side is really where the action is at. We're not changing anything on the penthouse, the roof of the lower portion of the building that has an address of 51 Louisiana. It's just that northern portion of the building that we're modifying, and that is shown a little bit more clearly in the next slide, if we want to page to that. Thank you. So here you see the gray is the existing footprint of the mechanical penthouse that's there today. The blue shows the habitable addition and how we're converting that space. Again, sorry for the extra information. It's just the most recent version of the plans that was modified. So that's where the loose extra blue and red markup is. And then wrapping the north and east sides, you see the kind of renovations to the roof terrace space that's going to wrap around that habitable addition. Next slide. Here's just sort of an axon view of that same, the penthouse addition. You can see the roof terrace wrapping around. And again, that gray portion is the existing structure, the taller part. And the shorter part that's shown in green is the addition. And just one more slide, please. All right, and just another view, this from more the northeast corner of the same thing. So with that, we're happy to answer any questions that the commission or the community may have, but we appreciate you all taking the time to hear us tonight.
Thank you. So just to recap, this is a request to support a 2-year extension with the Board of Zoning adjustment, and it's about the addition of the penthouse. It's a proposed, okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's just a proposal to add a penthouse in the future, right?
Correct. A habitable addition to the existing penthouse and renovation of the roof deck. That's kind of the specific description that was approved by the BZA. But this piece is really, that's already approved. This is just about the 2-year time extension.
Got it. Commissioner Prince, this is in your single member district, correct? Do you have any questions, comments, concerns?
I think I understand, and I understand that there are no changes to what we previously approved in 2023, and we are just extending. I was very new on the ANC at the time, so I don't recall this. I had just joined, but I noticed that in the artwork, it is green on the rooftop. I'm just curious, is that a sort of a green, in quotes, rooftop where you have plants or grass, and is any part of this, looks like it's all indoors. You called it habitable. This is not a roof deck for people to hang around on, right? Is that correct?
That's a good question. So on the first point, there is going to be some green roof that's going to be implemented on the top of that penthouse roof. So that's what we're showing there. The habitable versus mechanical, that's a kind of a term of art in the zoning regulations. Habitable just means you can use the enclosed space. People can hang out in there. You can have conference space. You can have something besides mechanical equipment and storage. Most of it is enclosed. You see that brown track. That's a kind of a wooden track that's going to be added around the penthouse addition. That will be roof terrace that people can congregate and hang out on. There's a roof deck up there right now that people can go up on. So this is actually going to be kind of shrinking the available space to create that enclosed addition. But there will be space for people to take in that amazing view of the Capitol and the train station and everything. So.
Thank you. I don't have any more questions.
Other commissioners, do you have any questions or comments? There was a question in the Q&A box about the intended use of that additional space. Is it like an event space? The question was asking if it's an event space.
Right. So it's intended to be an amenity for the office tenants. Yeah, so it'd be space for them to have, conference meeting space if they want to have a gathering from the office tenants within the building, that would be how the space is being used.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Before we move constituents, other commissioners, do you have any questions? Right. Nancy, go ahead. Do you have a question or comment?
I do, thank you very much. So I live right down the block from where your building is located. And I was the one who asked if this was event space because I'm curious if there will be any amplified music. We've been having problems with that on rooftops around the neighborhood. So that's my first, question and concern. And the other one is, this came up at last month's meeting on a different building, light pollution. Because many of the floors in your existing building are lit up all night with video screens and whatnot. So I'm just concerned about consideration for the neighbors.
Sure. So the first question that you have, that's a good one. So when this was originally approved in 2021, the BZA order actually included a condition. That condition still applies as it carries forward, that prohibits any amplification devices on the penthouse roof deck or anything kind of projecting from inside out onto the roof deck. That was a condition. So back when this was originally approved, the property was within a different ANC. It was an ANC 6C, and they had requested that condition. We didn't have any issue with it, so that was incorporated into the BZA order. So I think that hopefully addresses your concern about noise, that there's a prohibition in the approval to make sure that there's no noise impacts. And then as far as light pollution, I mean, Ramiz, I don't know. I imagine that this space may be used in the early evenings, for some kind of gatherings of office tenants, but I don't think there's an intent to use it late into the evening in a way that would kind of create light pollution. But Ramiz, are you on? Are you able to?
Yeah, I'm on. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, great. Yeah, I guess just at a high
Yes,
level,
I can hear you.
Great. Yeah, at a high level, it's essentially used for events during business hours, plus or minus 2 or 3 hours. We typically don't allow for events to go late into the evening. So hopefully light pollution isn't an issue. And in the existing building, there was a comment about digital screens. Is that something that's inside the building or outside? Because I don't believe we have any digital screens that are sort of affixed to the building or anything like that. And certainly wouldn't plan to do that as a part of this penthouse.
Got it. Thank you. Any other comments or questions by constituents? Nancy, do you have another comment or question?
Yeah, I wanted to answer the question. The video screens are inside the building in the offices. So I can take that up at a different point in time. I have a funny question for you. Since we're gonna have this new super duper penthouse with the view of the mall and the Capitol, will you be inviting us locals to come for the fireworks?
Yeah, I can certainly check with our property management team.
Wonderful.
I'm actually not even certain if our tenants are permitted up there, but I can certainly check for you. And also just to clarify, this is more so an extension for 2 years. We're not sure if we're actually building it yet, for various reasons that we've discussed on this call earlier. But that could be a fun way to sort of incorporate the community. So let me check with our team on that.
Great. Thank you so much. We will be voting on this issue, and I think I messed up the order. So we'll be going back to Madeline, and then we'll be returning to you, Lawrence, for your second presentation for the night on another issue.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you. I think we can pull down the slides. Before we vote on this issue, can have some time for discussion. Any comments, concerns? Personally, don't have any issue. Oh, go
I
ahead.
just have a question as to what is desired here. I believe it is a letter of support.
So it's not, let me
And maybe we weigh
check
in
with Lawrence.
the online system whose name escapes me at the moment. I just want to confirm before I
Yeah.
introduce a motion
Got
that
it.
I'm going to
Yeah.
uh,
Lawrence, you have
advocate for
permission
the right thing.
to talk. Can you answer the question?
Yeah, so if the ANC is so inclined, we would definitely appreciate a letter of support for the extension request. And I can shoot an email with kind of detailed information. Basically, you can send that to BZA submissions
Yeah.
at dc.gov.
That's right.
Oh, okay. So you're not asking us to vote on a resolution. A letter of support could be submitted by Commissioner Prince, but I think it doesn't have the same weight, right?
If you're
As
willing to
like the
take a
full,
vote, we definitely would appreciate something with that has that great weight. That always is something we appreciate, but
right.
I'll defer to the
Yeah.
commission.
Just from an official perspective, Commissioner Prince's letters have great weight in my eyes. It's just I think like from the administrative perspective in DC, if the full commission votes on one resolution, it's given um, greater weight than just one comment letter, even if I send it for anyone else. So if that would be helpful, I think we would be happy to do that, vote on a resolution and then share it with you. It would just convey our support for the extension to BZA, but collectively as a body.
That would be terrific if you're so inclined. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. So I think the language would just be what we typically do. I mean, we can tweak the exact language, but it would just be a resolution conveying to the Board of Zoning Adjustment our support for a 2-year extension of the Order 2052. Commissioner Prince, do you want to?
That sounds right to me, and that will be my motion. Then I move that
Yeah.
the ANC adopt a resolution to convey to the BZA our support for a 2-year extension in the case 2052 regarding 300 New Jersey Avenue Northwest.
And I second the motion. So Commissioner Prince moved and Commissioner Abukalov seconded a motion to approve a resolution conveying to the Board of Zoning Adjustment our ANC 60E support for a 2-year extension of order number 2052. I will be calling on commissioners to vote. Can vote A, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Watts,
Abstain.
Commissioner Rogers, how do you vote on a resolution, Commissioner Rogers?
Yes, I said
Okay,
yes.
great. And I vote aye. Commissioner Kaufman,
Aye.
Commissioner Carson,
Aye.
and Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
So the motion passes with 5 ayes, 1 abstain, and 0 nays. And Lawrence will be following up with you via email to send you the final signed version. And now we will go back to another item where the point of contact is Madeline Shea Williams. Sorry for the hiccup. We switched the order. And it's also a request for supporting a 2-year extension of Board of Zoning Adjustment Order 21001 for a property located in 6E01. We pulled up the slides, so you can go ahead and present, and then we can have Q&A after.
Perfect, thank you. We also have Jessica Bloomfield who should be on the call. She could be elevated as well.
Sounds good. I will do that.
Perfect. So I can go ahead and get started while she's being brought on. So hello, my name is Madeline Shea Williams from Holland and Knight as Land Use Counsel. Here on behalf of the applicant in BZA case 21001A. This is a 2-year time extension request for the property located at 917 to 921 6th Street Northwest. Next slide, please. So just to provide some context, this is where the property is located, that red square. It's located off 6th Street between K Street and Massachusetts Avenue. Next slide, please. And so under the prior BZA approval, the board approved special exception relief for a project which would be a new 13-story hotel with a restaurant in the habitable penthouse space. In that prior original BZA case, ANC 6E voted unanimously to support the application, and the ANC report is at Exhibit 22. And so the board approved 2 areas of special exception relief. One was from the loading requirements, and the other was to allow an eating and drinking establishment within the habitable penthouse space. And so under the current approval, a building permit application must be filed no later than December 18th of this year. And so as will be discussed later in the presentation, we're seeking a 2-year time extension for that. Next slide, please. And so under subtitle Y, section 705.2 of the zoning regulations, the board has the authority to extend the time period of a BZA order if they determine that 3 requirements are met. The first is that the extension request is served on all parties to the application, which has been done here. 2, that there's no substantial change in any of the material facts in which the board based its original approval. And so here in this case, nothing regarding the project has changed. We're simply seeking the time extension request of the order. And then lastly, that the applicant demonstrates with substantial evidence an inability to obtain sufficient project financing due to economic and market conditions beyond the applicant's reasonable control. And so I'll kind of delve into this a little more in the coming slides. Next slide, please. And so under the good cause standard, the applicant undertook extensive efforts to try to move forward with the development. They tracked sales comparables, refined underwriting assumptions, updated project cost estimates, and even negotiated and entered into a franchise license agreement with a hotel brand. Next slide, please. And so RevPAR International is a hospitality advisory and asset management company that conducted an assessment of the really challenging market conditions that are prevalent right now. And they filed a letter at Exhibit 2D and outlined these various kind of factors that are listed here. There are elevated construction costs, labor shortages, supply chain disruptions, increased borrowing cost, weakened lending environment, and so on. And so next slide, please. And so they also discussed the impact on the hotel industry in particular. So there's a lot less travel because of economic uncertainty. There's a declining demand growth for the hospitality sector. And so in sum, the total cost of developing the project at this time, given the current market, the total cost would exceed the value of the completed project. And so RevPAR recommended that the applicant pause development for now until economic conditions improve. Next slide, please. And so the applicant now is requesting a 2-year time extension. The applicant has invested substantial resources into the development of the project and wants to see it through, wants to see it come to fruition. And so they're seeking this 2-year time extension. And so if approved, the building permit application would need to be filed within 2 years of when the board would approve this current case, which would be around December of 2027. Next slide, please. And so the applicant is requesting the ANC's support for this application in the form of a resolution. And we're here to answer any questions.
Thank you for the presentation. Could you maybe just to recap, remind us of the original exemptions that you got from BZA that you're intending to extend?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Oh, the question is, can you remind us of the exemptions that you already received an approval for and you're trying to extend now?
Sure. So the first special exception was from the loading requirements, and the second was to allow an eating and drinking establishment in the penthouse habitable space.
Got it. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Okay.
Did you ask me? Did I hear? There had some background noise here. Was that to me?
Oh, no, I said commissioners, not
Oh,
any
commissioners.
commissioner.
No, I do want to just confirm what I think it was in the beginning of the slide. This is the first time that you've come before us, isn't it? Requesting an extension. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, thank you.
But in 2023, ANC 6E approved or supported the original request for exemptions, and now this is the extension, correct?
Correct. Yes, this is the first
Yeah.
extension.
Okay. Other commissioners, any questions or comments? Or constituents, if you have any questions or comments? Okay. And we can pull down those slides. Thank you for joining us. We will be discussing request and then voting on it. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any concerns or issues about approving it, especially since ANC 6E originally approved or supported the request for the exemption. Any comments or concerns? It's in 6E01, but I think that although Commissioner Alatif is not with us, he previously um, expressed his support via email to me. So I don't have any issues, but curious to know if other commissioners have any questions, comments, or concerns before we vote.
No concerns from me.
Okay. So I make a motion to vote on a resolution conveying to the Board of Zoning Adjustment ANC 6E support for a 2-year extension of BZA order number 21001. Anyone would like to second?
I'll second it.
Okay. So Commissioner Abukalaf moved and Commissioner Prince seconded, voting on a motion that conveys to the Board of Zoning Adjustment ANC 6E support for request for a 2-year extension of BZA order number 21001. I'll be asking each commissioner on how they would like to vote on this resolution. Commissioner Watts,
Yay.
Commissioner Rogers.
Yes.
I vote aye. Commissioner Kaufman,
Aye.
Commissioner Carson,
Aye.
and Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Great. So the motion passes with 6 ayes, no abstains, and no nays. And Madeline will be reaching out to you online to send you the final and signed version of the resolution. So going back to Lawrence, and I think that Simone also joining you tonight to present on your request of support from ANC 6E for Northwest 1 Phase 3 zoning map amendment, and we pulled the slides up.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. And thank you for all of the commissioners for the opportunity to be here tonight. My name is Simone Goring Devani, and I am the managing principal of CSG Urban Partners. CSG, in partnership with MRP Realty and Taylor Adams, we are the developers for the Northwest One project. I came before the commission last year, I believe it was September of 24, just informing the commission of our intention to submit a map amendment just for information purposes. But tonight I'm here to request that the ANC approve a resolution of support for our map amendment application. And also with me is Lawrence, who you just heard from for the case before the last one. And he'll just be giving some detailed information on the map amendment. Next slide. So I know there's some new commissioners and new community members. So I just wanted to give a quick history of the Northwest One project. So our project, our component of the Northwest Redevelopment Project consists of 3 phases. And we started the Northwest One project in November of 2020. The project is generally located along North Capitol and K Streets Northwest. And it was created to provide replacement units for the former Temple Court apartments, which were demolished in, I believe, about 2008, to make way for the redevelopment of the Northwest project, which also included some of the other projects that have been completed, the Severna and 2M. So for our project, we have completed phase 1 and phase 2 of the project. And between those 2 phases, it consists of 432 units. 362 units are affordable for families earning 30% and 60% of MFI. And in phase 1, we did have some market rate units. So in terms of the 3 phases, phase 1 is complete. Phase 2, the construction is complete and we're almost fully leased up. And phase 3, we're in the planning stages, which is why we're here tonight. Next slide. I just thought it would be nice to show you some of the pictures of the units and then the amenities in phase 1. So this has been named Rise at Temple Courts. And you can just see the entrance, some of the common areas, and just illustrative pictures of what the units look like. Next slide, please. So phase 2, Legacy at Temple Courts, we just completed it earlier this year. It's currently leasing and it is 100% affordable. And there will be there are 212 affordable units. Next slide. Again, just some pictures just showing the project and the entrance and the amenities and the units. Next slide. So phase 3, we're in the planning stage, and it is the project that is located at the corner of K Street and North Capitol Street. It has been previously used as staging for construction for phase 1 and for phase 2. The site is currently zoned MU4, which allows for a mixed-use building with 50-foot height and a 3.0 FAR. So due to those limitations, we would only be allowed to build a 5-story structure. And that would not provide us enough density in order to be able to achieve our requirement to provide 211 replacement units for the former Temple Court project. So we are proposing a map amendment to rezone the site. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lawrence.
Great, thanks, Simone. Again, as Simone said, Lawrence Ferris, again with the law firm of Goulston Stores, and we're land use counsel for this project. So as Simone said, we filed an application with the Zoning Commission for a zoning map amendment for the phase 3 property to allow the density and height that's needed for those additional to meet the full 211 replacement units and do all 3 phases as proposed. As Simone mentioned, the current site is MU4, which allows 50 feet of height and up to 3.0 of FAR, which is just not enough to meet the program needs and what the project is proposed. So the requested map amendment would rezone the site to the MU9A zone, which allows a maximum height of 100 feet and a 7.8 FAR, which is more consistent, which would actually allow the project to meet kind of the goals we're targeting for those replacement units. So, and we can flip to the last slide here. Thank you. So just as sort of background, the primary consideration for the zoning commission when they're reviewing a zoning map amendment is the comprehensive plan, policies, and objectives for the site. And especially in particular, the key thing the zoning commission looks at is the comprehensive plan's future land use map. So that's that map, that very red map that's on the right-hand side of the slide. So that here the MU9A zoning that I just described that we're requesting is very much in line with the future land use map designations for the site. The site, most of the site is designated for high density residential and medium density commercial development. And then about a third of the site at the northern tip is mapped for similar, but slightly tweaked the high density residential, again with low density commercial. So the proposed zoning is a mixed use zone that allows that high density residential to be achieved. It's very much consistent with that designation on the future land use map. And it's also very much in line with a number of other policies throughout the comprehensive plan, including the land use and housing elements, all of which call for allowing higher density housing on sites like this one that are centrally located and walkable to metro. And then, so lastly, the rezoning is going to help realize the vision. I think it's important to underscore this. The vision that's in the Northwest One redevelopment plan and in the New Communities Initiative both have been looking to see the site fully brought back to life after years of waiting for this redevelopment initiative that the team is bringing forward and is ready to finalize. So that completes our presentation. We're happy to answer any questions. And as Simone said, we greatly appreciate everyone's time tonight and would appreciate the ANC's vote in support of the map amendment.
Thank you for the presentation. So before we move to discussion, just want to make sure that we're capturing the request. So it's voting on a resolution that conveys to the zoning commission that ANC 6E supports the zoning map amendment number 2502. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I see a question about the term FAR, and let's see if my background in architecture and urban planning would let me answer it. It's a portion of the site's area that is actually covered by the building, right?
Similar, yes. So it's essentially a way of measuring density. So you measure all of the floor area of the building, so all the levels. You know, if you have a 7-story building or an 8-story building, each of those floors, the floor area, add them all up, and then you divide them by the area of the land itself. And the result gives you the FAR figure. So it's a
Right.
way of tracking how densely you can develop a site.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
like the area that could be stacked as a portion of the overall site's area, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Got it. There's another question about the affordability of the units that would be built to replace the previous housing developments.
Those units will be affordable at the 30% and 60% of the AMI.
Got it.
Yeah, and AMI is area median income.
Mhm. Thank you. Commissioner Rogers, this is in your single member district. Do you have any comments or questions?
No, this has been an ongoing project and it's turned out pretty well so far. I've been following this right here for the past few years back. And Simone Gordon is doing a pretty good job with it. I asked that the ANC support the CSG partners, right, and communicate that support to map amendment, which is
Great.
being zoning and planning.
Sounds good. Other commissioners, any questions or comments?
Yeah, could someone just sort of recap the key point here about the difference between the previous zone or the existing zone and the change to MU9A? What is the key feature here? And also, are we looking to build higher than maybe higher than the existing zoning, but is this going to go higher than the buildings in phase 1 or phase 2, or be similar or lower? So those are my two questions.
Sure. So on the first question, the key differences between the current MU4 and the proposed MU9A is the height and density. So the MU4 allows a maximum height of 50 feet. The new zoning allows up to 100 feet of height, and the current zoning allows 3.0 FAR, and the new zoning allows up to 7.8 FAR. There's some additional tweaks around the zoning development standards, lot occupancy requirements, rear yard, like that. But the major ones are the height and density. And then, I can't remember off the top of my head the height. It is going to be taller than phases 1 and 2, but I can't remember the final height of the 1 and 2 and what the difference is going to be. I don't know, Simone, or if Zainab is on, but I don't have that info on my fingertips, fortunately.
Hi,
don't.
Zainab is here. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
It will go up to 10 stories. So phase 1 is 7 stories and phase 2 is 6 stories. So it'll be a little bit higher so we can get the density that we need to get in the remaining of the replacement units. Because the lot is much smaller than phase 1 and 2, we do need to go higher, 3 floors higher.
Yeah. Now it occurs to me that there are buildings nearby that are also tall, like thinking about the Camden over there on L Street between L and Pierce. That must be at least 12 stories. I don't know, 10 doesn't seem like terribly high, although it will put it certainly higher than the neighboring buildings.
Add the Camden Noma is 14 stories. I live
It's
there.
14. Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And the NPR building is pretty tall. And then of course there's the church, or what, I don't know what it is now or what it's going to be, but across North Capitol Street has a steeple on it that's fairly tall too.
And Commissioner Price, directly across the street, right next to the church, that a really interesting architectural building,
Yes.
Way Residence. I believe that's taller than 100. That might be 110, 120.
Uh-huh. Right. So the height you're seeking is 100 feet?
Correct.
All right. Yeah. And 10 floors. Okay. Yeah, I'll support it.
Commissioners, any questions? And if the surrounding buildings are slightly lower, they can ask for exemption to build higher. And then we would have more affordable housing.
Yeah, I'm in
In the
favor of
area.
high density housing.
Right.
Maybe
Especially
they
in
should
that
have asked
area.
for taller buildings in phases 1 and 2.
Yep. Is it too late to get a BZA extension to build higher?
They're pretty much done.
Yeah. Let's see. Commissioner Agro, did you have a question or a
I
comment?
do. Hey, Simone, good to talk to you.
Hey,
I am
I
actually
know,
going
I
to
haven't
say,
seen you in a while. It's
I
good to hear your
know.
voice.
I don't have to deal with this area anymore, right? But we did
Right.
for a long time. And
Yes.
I just want to say I'm very happy that this is coming to, again, moving forward. This is great. But my question is, when you say affordable, are you considering that low income or affordable?
Affordable. So
Okay.
it's the max is 60% of
Yep.
AMI.
Okay.
But we
All right.
also have permanent supportive units, which,
Oh.
reach the 30% of AMI and below families.
Okay. And how many units are those?
Oh, Z, do you know off the top of your head how many units?
Or in phase one and phase two? Is that the question?
Yes.
Well, phase two has 11,
Mhm.
and phase one, it's around the same. I don't know the exact number, but it's not above 20 for sure. It's below.
So I guess then my follow-up question is, do you see many of the former residents then coming back if if they wouldn't be under the affordable category?
Yes, all of the former Temple Court families have the option to come back to Northwest One.
Okay.
So many have moved in to phase one and phase two, and that's another reason that we need the map amendment so that we can build enough height and density to complete the required replacement units.
All right. Well,
And
very
the
good. Well,
replacement
good.
units are first offered to the former Temple Court families.
Well, great. It's very exciting. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a question about if the property will have on-site resident services and caseworkers.
Yes, all of the buildings that comprise Northwest One have on-site caseworkers.
Great. Last call for questions or comments by constituents. Okay. Yeah, not seeing any. We will move to discussion. Now, I think higher density and relaxing the cap height for affordable housing is a good thing. And yeah, we'll move to discussion. We can pull down the slides. Thank you for joining us. We will be voting or discussing and voting on the resolution. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay. Discussion time. Any questions, comments, concerns? Did you say something, Commissioner Rogers?
No, I didn't say anything. You want me
Okay, I thought that I heard something. Okay. Not hearing anything. I can make a motion that ANC 6E vote on a resolution conveying to the DC Zoning Commission ANC 6E support for the zoning map amendment application number 2502. Anyone would like to second? Commissioner Rogers, this is in your area. Would you like to second?
I'll second.
Okay, so
I'll second
Commissioner
it.
Abu sounds good. Commissioner Abukalov made a motion and Commissioner Rogers seconded a motion to vote on a resolution conveying to the DC Zoning Commission ANC 6E support for zoning map amendment application 2502. I'll be asking you to vote on the resolution by aye, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Watts.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Kaufman.
Aye.
Commissioner Carson.
Aye.
And Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Great. So the resolution passes with 6 ayes, 0 nays, and no abstains. And Lawrence and Simone will be reaching out to you with the final version that is signed. And then now we will move to the next item, which is the voting. We have a set of applications for the renewal of liquor licenses with APCA. Do we have anyone from these establishments? Bar Chinois, Hampton Inn, DC Convention Center, Proper Bar, Kelly's Irish Time, Next Level DC, Hamilton's Bar and Grill, and then Present Company. If so, please use the raise hand option. If you would like to share anything. Okay. Don't have anything. I think we can check. Does anyone have commissioners or constituents? Does anyone have any questions or concerns about any of these establishments? And drop. Okay. Can drop. I know it's a long list, so I can drop it in the chat for everyone to see it. Okay. Any comments, questions, concerns? Okay, not hearing any, can move to make a motion to convey to APCA that ANC 6E support the applications for renewing alcoholic beverage and cannabis administration licenses submitted by Bar Chinois in 6001, Hampton Inn in 6001, Proper Bar 6003, Kelly's Irish Time 6007, Next Level DC 6007, Hamilton's Bar and Grill 6008, and then Present Company 6009. Anyone would like to second?
I'll second.
Great. So Commissioner Abukalov moved and Commissioner Kaufman seconded a motion to approve a resolution that conveys to APCA ANC 6E support for applications for renewing APCA licenses submitted by Bar Chinois, Hampton Inn, Proper Bar, Kelly's Irish Times, Next Level DC, Hamilton's Bar and Grill, and Present Company. I'll be asking you to vote aye, nay, or abstain on this resolution. Commissioner Watts. Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Kaufman.
Aye.
Commissioner Carson.
Aye.
And then Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Commissioner Watts, are you able to vote? Okay, so the motion passes with 5 ayes, 1 abstain, and 0 nays. And now, oh, go ahead, Commissioner Prince.
Thank you. I was just reviewing the correspondence from ABCA on the renewals, and I do see the name of an establishment that was not on our list, the Ministry. And I wonder if that was supposed to have been added, was supposed to have been included in 6E07. It came jointly with the message about Kelly's Irish Times and Next Level DC.
That sometimes happen.
Have we missed
Yeah,
one?
definitely.
And also we have the Dubliner, but maybe we voted, no, we couldn't have, that was sent on 9/30, September 30th as well. So we may
Okay.
need to vote again on those two.
Yeah, I can. So the good thing is that if you do not protest, then that's considered a yes. But I think
That's
for
true.
consistency,
That's true.
we can definitely include them. could you remind me of the two establishments? Thank you for catching.
Yeah, on September 30th, we received notification of a renewal for the Dubliner in 6E07. And on October 7th, we received a notification of renewal notices in 6E07 for the ministry, which came jointly with the Kelly's Irish Times and Next Level DC. And the others we've already, voted on. I don't see the one for,
Okay.
I think I see, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you caught it. They sometimes like send multiple um attachments and I missed some of them. Well, I mean the motion passes and then I can make another motion. Um so I move to make a motion to convey to APCA ANC 6E support for the applications for renewing APCA licenses submitted by the Dubliner in 6007 and the ministry in 6007. Anyone would like to second?
Second.
Okay. So Commissioner Abukalaf moved and Commissioner Rogers seconded a motion that conveys to APCA ANC 6E support for applications for renewing APCA licenses submitted by the Dubliner in 6007 and the Ministry in 6007. I'll be asking you to vote individually by aye, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Watts, are you able to vote? Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Kaufman?
Aye.
Commissioner Carson?
Aye.
And Commissioner Prince?
Aye.
The motion passes with 5 ayes, 1 abstain, and 0 nays. Then we can move to the next item, which is vote on approving ANC 6E budget report for Q4 FY25. Commissioner Kaufman, can you pull it up? And then Commissioner Carson, let us know. Oh, there was a question about Dubliner or Irish Times. I think there were both, right? In the
Yes,
first one, there was like Kelly's Irish Time, and then there was the Dubliner that we
yes.
added. Okay. Commissioner Carson, could you present on the financial report for Q4 and remind us about the months included in the Q4 for fiscal year 2025?
All right, and that's July, August, September. Right here, the form you see is the actual transaction, all of the transactions that we made in Q4. When you see Wells Fargo's, those are the transactions a few years ago when they signed up for this account. They signed a waiver whereas though we won't get charged any fees. However, the new year, the waiver expired and Wells Fargo didn't have a way of fixing it. So they take the money out and then they submit it back in, and you'll see that throughout the document, those Wells Fargo's transaction, you actually see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those are, and you also see the reverse transactions, which says bank. In October, you see a payment to current for $250. Our transaction, the funds that we've received from DC government, $5,611.32. And then another check, 5413, and that goes to current for the meeting minutes. If you can go over to the other sheet. The other attachment.
Sorry, how do I do that?
It was 2 attachments to the email.
Oh, there's a second one. I may have
That's
just
which is actually
okay.
quarter financial report. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see that again and share it.
I'm going to give you control.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. Let's see. amazing that Outlook asks you, do you want to see all attachments? I would like to see them all at once instead of hiding them and then asking if I want to see. Okay, I think, is this the one?
Yes, this is the actual quarter financial
Yeah.
report. The other one was the transactions, which actually give you the breakdown of every payment. The top is the district allotments where you seeing on the other paper, DC government payment or something of that nature was $5,611. The deposit and others, those are the things I spoke about that falls under the Wells Fargo deductions, and then they resubmitted the payment back to us and refunds, and then it'll allocate. The other transactions actually probably came in on the next quarter, but it does equally even out. Once they take it out, they put it back into our account. Purchases of services, $500, and those were to Kern for the meeting minutes. Bank fees, $124. Total disbursements, $624.39. Our ending balance is $125,282.73. And that's our report for Q4. Any questions or concerns?
Commissioners, any questions? Okay. Not seeing any questions. Okay. Commissioner Carson would like to make a motion to approve the financial report, ANC 60 financial report for Q4 fiscal year 2025.
Yes, I move to approve ANC 6E quarter financial report for Q4. Can I get a second?
Vice Commissioner Kaufman, go ahead.
I'll second that.
Okay, so Commissioner Carson made a motion and Commissioner Kaufman seconded a motion to approve the ANC 6E financial report for Q4 of fiscal year 2025. I will be calling on you to vote aye, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Watts. Commissioner
Aye.
Rogers. Oh, aye. Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Kaufman.
Aye.
And then Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Commissioner Carson.
Aye.
Great. So the motion passes with 6 ayes, 0 nays, and no abstains. And now we can move to the next item, which is the open forum. So any commissioner or constituent may raise an issue for discussion. We typically ask that you limit your comments or questions for 2 minutes per item, and then you can get ANC response. Any comments, anything you would like to raise, anything you would like to flag, commissioners, please go ahead. Okay. Constituents, Commissioner Nigro, go ahead.
Hey there. Good meeting, you guys. Very interesting. So I believe all the commissioners saw the 2 emails that went out today, and I don't want to go down the jail at 501 New York Avenue rabbit hole, aka the Central Cell Block, but just to tee up some key points. With the Board of Zoning Adjustment order that was finalized in March of this year, there were 5 conditions, and there was no time when those conditions were supposed to start. Only after the order was finalized. So one of those conditions was that they had to appear before your commission and before our commission. They did appear before our commission because of the public space application, but they did not appear before your commission at all. And the obligation is to appear quarterly. And that's it. They have, in my opinion, they have violated the condition. They have yet to prove me wrong. If I was wrong, they could have sent me an email today and said, kiss off Commissioner Nigro, right? Which did not happen today. And a couple of your participants during this meeting, you saw how important it was to come to talk to you about they needed your support for the BZA. This complete disregard by the Department of General Services is insane. But I think it's a little bit of, how do they say the phrase? Good laws for thee, but not for me, or whatever it is. So that is what's going on here. Now, I'm just going to shoot my shot. I'm asking your support because they clearly didn't come before your commission, right? Am I correct, commissioners?
Yeah, I don't see any communications. I mean,
Well, they
I
don't have to
have
send
to
an email.
double check.
They had to come before you,
Yeah,
right?
no,
Yeah.
they did not. Is that?
So if I'm wrong, tell me. But I read
Yeah,
that
no,
order.
they have not presented. The only thing that I have to double check is to go through when did they present
Well, they
at
came
your
for us in
commission?
July,
July. Okay.
but that was
I
for
mean,
the
just to
public space
double check,
application.
I can confirm, but I don't remember missing a request or presentation. And can you remind us what is the BZA? Were they asking for an exemption or?
So just a couple of bullet points. So there were two BZA hearings. We won the first one where the government said that they did not have to have a special exception for the jail at 501 New York Avenue. Well, they knew they did, and they lost that, right? We won. The commission won that. The second one was just for their regular application. And if, no one was surprised that they were granted that exception, right? The government wants this. They don't like me still fighting it. I'm not going to stop, and neither is the commission. And as you can tell, what is happening is the government, it might end up doing what they want, but if this scenario happened with any of the developers that came before you tonight, the permit would have been revoked this afternoon. I guarantee that. If any of your constituents had an order, the permit would have been revoked. I have done this myself with developers, and I got that permit revoked the same day.
Got it. And your request or suggestion is that we submit a letter.
You're just gonna write an email. You're just gonna write an email and say,
Okay.
you just basically cut and paste mine. So you have not come before us. This is a violation of condition number 5. That's it.
Okay.
Prove us wrong, but which
Yeah.
my belief is their silence this afternoon is because they're talking to their lawyers.
Got it. Yeah. Commissioners, any questions about this topic?
Well,
I personally don't have an issue sending an email saying that they did not come before us. Commissioner
yeah,
Prince?
I think it's if they haven't come before us and they're supposed to come before us, that's pretty clear that they haven't done that. So what is the possible consequence? Where are we going with this?
So the consequence for this part of the journey, right? There's many parts of this journey, is that the permit will be revoked, right? So they're in construction now. And why I chose this time is because they're not that far along, right? You see that they're fairly slow. The permit will be revoked. They'll have to go through the application again. It's a pain, right? We are a pain to them. This project has been significantly delayed for a very long time due to your action and our action in 2G. So, and again, they need to follow the rules. During this whole time, they have not followed the rules. And now currently with the Public Space Commission, the Public Space Commission is not following their rules. So sorry, sorry for transparency and sorry for, making them accountable for their actions. This is taxpayer money, and either you're going to do this project, you're going to do it right, or I'm going to be a pain in your ass forever.
Right.
And
I invite you guys to read the order. I attached the order. You can see there's no time. There's no time. So it has to start after the central solid block is there or before. It had to start after the order was finalized. That's what they're probably going to say. Well, you told me where it says that.
Got it. Thank you for the explanation. Commissioners, any questions or comments about this topic? Okay.
And so, Chair, just say, with your very, very simple email to
Yeah.
Director Hanlon, is that you just their permit should be the consequence needs to be that their permit is revoked. We will accept no less, because anyone else, their permit would be revoked. Why should they be treated any differently?
Got it. Yeah. Thank you
I,
for
I would,
highlighting this issue. Go ahead, Commissioner
yeah,
Prince.
I just have a comment.
Yeah.
I think we joined Commissioner Nigro in the fight against this for a lot of reasons, predating my service on the ANC, and and basically we lost. But I absolutely agree that she is right to continue to hold their feet to the fire. If there are commitments made on that side and they're not being honored, then we have to call them out and make sure they play fair. And if there are, if it results in the revocation of a permit, so be it. If it drags out the process, that is another possible consequence. But I think that it is right to hold them to what has been committed in
Yeah. I mean,
on
it's
paper.
been a while, but ANC 6E objection, we voted on a resolution saying that we do not support, because I think there were also a lot of issues with the process. It was like rushed at times, and then they would not communicate, and then they were like, "Oh well." So that was
Yeah,
the big part of issue
process,
here. Yeah,
noise, traffic, potential
yeah,
release of people from that site as opposed to other sites, and other issues.
And let me just say that, if they don't revoke their permit, which, there is a high chance of them not revoking their, because it's themselves, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that they'll then start coming to the meetings. So there's I view positive always, all the way around. There's positive all the way, because, don't ignore us, but we want that permit revoked.
Yes, this can result in an improvement in the process.
And
great.
I'm sending out
Well,
an email tonight to hopefully tonight to the constituents who on both sides of the street who supported way last year, to have them write an email to anyone. Can go against this, anyone can say, hey, they didn't follow the condition. So
got it. Well, thank you for joining us and flagging
thank
this
you.
issue, and we will continue communicating with you.
Great, thanks you guys, I appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you. Have a good night. Commissioners, constituents, anything you would like to flag? Any comments? Okay. It's only 9:10 p.m. Not too bad. And we are, let's see, exactly on time, which feels like a miracle. So the last item that I have is that I'll be making a motion to reschedule November's meeting from the 27th, because it's the last Thursday of the month and it's Thanksgiving Thursday. So we'll be holding the meeting, the November monthly meeting, a week earlier on the 20th. Any issues with that? If also there's a different day that week that works better, Monday to Wednesday, we could do that, but I think it's probably easier just to do it a week before. And then for the notification on the website and the newsletter, it would have to go out on the 13th or 14th. Commissioner Prince, which day? Is it like exactly a week before or the Friday?
Well, I don't
It's
don't
a
like to
week
put.
before, but like, do they
Yeah, I
count
know
like
it's a
the
week
date?
before. I don't know how you count, but I would say I would like to get it out by on the latest, the 13th. That's a
Okay.
week before, and
Yeah.
ideally a little bit earlier. Although, yeah, I mean, yeah, 13th, 12th.
12th, maybe, yeah, well, we can aim for the 12th. Yeah, I mean, we'll see, maybe like a short agenda since we don't have a lot of, it's like barely 2 weeks by then, but it is what it is. Okay. So I move to make a motion to reschedule ANC 16 November meeting to November 20th at 6:30 p.m. Anyone would like to second?
We'll second that.
Okay, so Commissioner Abukaloff moved and Commissioner Prince seconded a motion. Rescheduled ANC 16 November monthly meeting from the 27th to the 20th at 6:30 p.m. I'll be asking you to vote on the resolution. Commissioner Watts,
Yeah.
Commissioner Rogers, aye. Commissioner Kaufman,
Aye.
Commissioner Carson,
Aye.
and Commissioner
Aye.
Prince.
Right.
Aye.
Right. Got it. And I heard Commissioner Carson, Rogers and Carson. So the motion passes with 6 ayes, 0 nays, and no abstains. And that's it. I make a motion. I'm blanking right now. Do we make a motion to adjourn? We do, right? My brain is like freezing right now.
I'm not sure we've been consistent.
Well, you know
Go
what?
for it.
I'll go for it. It doesn't hurt. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Anyone would like to second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Abukaloff made a motion and Commissioner Prince is second a motion to adjourn the October 30th ANC 16 meeting. I'm asking you to vote. Commissioner Watts, Commissioner Rogers. I
Aye.
heard you. Aye. Commissioner Kaufman,
Aye.
Commissioner Carson,
Aye.
and Commissioner Prince.
All right.
The motion passes with 6 A's, 0 nays, and no abstains. Thank you again for staying this long and have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.
Good night.
And the meeting adjourned at 9:14 p.m. for meeting minutes purposes. Have a good night.
All right.